After our greedy little detour, the forest up ahead is impassable without the use of this collapsed tree. I could almost believe that the Heiadokans themselves collapsed it, so as to allow more convenient access to the rest of the woods. May well be that they just made use of the opportunity availed them by nature itself. That shift in music is perhaps a bit premature, but quite foreboding. Seems to imply something that need not necessarily happen if we play our cards right. And indeed, handling that like a pro has gotten us another challenge completed. That was merely to commit 3 individual stealth kills. Here's the area where all of our prizes lay before we collected them. We shot down one of the guards, but of course one remains, still oblivious, polishing his sword. Completing that last challenge reminded me that we got a few left that we need to make some progress on. So I'm actually going to intentionally awaken him. Disarm kills can be needlessly challenging if the camera refuses to keep your opponent on screen, but it's always worth it for the coconut sound effect that accompanies the headbutt. Another pair of archers, nothing new, but that Tuku, I'm going to have to liberate it from their ever-watchful gaze. That, unfortunately, has not won us the Tuku itself. Still quite a ways away. No convenient access point from here. I failed to properly hide myself while sending Kuzo off. Didn't result in any injuries. But it does seem like getting spotted has put those 2 armored opponents on abnormally high alert. They still don't know where we are, though. We've got that boar to work with. Perhaps we can still pull this out. And quite a few more enemies up ahead, so certainly wouldn't want to let these guys soften us up. If we carefully make our way around the corner, just enough to spot the boar. They have no interest in the boar. My failure was stepping out just slightly too far in just the moment that one of them turned around. Now, naturally, they're wary of a giant masked brute approaching them completely unarmed. And rightfully so. Disarm kills are superb, dealing with the armored enemies. As are combo-based kills. Anything that'll save you the effort of having to knock off all that armor. And going for the arrows has interrupted dinner time down below. It's unfortunate, usually I can sneak up there and start sniping them. But now we can't face them on our terms, we'll just have to dominate them. Or so it seems. If you glance back around our shoulder here, you can find an alternate path. However, I'm going to leave that ladder right where it is for now. Just get into battle. Save that health rune for later. They're dependent on line of sight before they come after us. Sometimes they'll get stuck on the geometry. Not so much anymore. Now we're in the fray. In large groups that have armored enemies in them, I like to use the kills that will terrify the rest of the group to buy some breathing room and set up a even more powerful attack against them. Certainly went better than it could have. It's not just anyone who can wade into a group of 6 enemies and come out victorious. Here inside the tree, they've made quite an elaborate room. The switch there. Kuzo can't use it, so I guess we're gonna have to break our way in. Don't want to repeat the mistake I made that got me caught in the first place. Hide around the corner, keep on scouting. Looks like it's just about time. Now we're pretty much in the clear. Reinforcements would have arrived through that door. We don't have to worry about that now. That's a rather inconvenient way to open that door. You may remember it's a short ways back. Wouldn't want to be caught defenseless on my way there. Level geometry, as we've seen previously, can be as much a problem for us as it is for the enemies sometimes. It seems somewhat intentional sometimes, particularly the way Raoul sort of bounce off walls just a little bit with a brief animation anytime you run him headfirst into one. Sort of an attempt at realism. Silent Hill 2 did the same thing if you played on the hardest difficulty. Perhaps it was Silent Hill 3. Another very simple enemy configuration. Perhaps we're already over the hump on difficult confrontations in this alternate path. Had our shot at stealth. But I need a little more combo practice. Well, this is an imposing sight. Let's get a better look at it. An archer on duty, armored guy in the back, and 3 additional warriors in the wooded area. Now we know that striking wood is a very dangerous thing to do to yourself. That is going to add a layer of challenge to this that is quite unlike anything we've seen before. Wanted to start by taking out the sniper. Failing that, at least bringing down one of the warriors who isn't armored. I failed completely. Arrows do a great deal of damage to Rao. Attempting to line up cover with the trees so that the archer does not have a clean shot at me. It's working for the most part, although I'm equal parts lucky and covered. And then the enforcer shows up. He's a bit stuck in the geometry. If he weren't armored, I'd take the chance to shoot him in the face. But we got plenty of other options to kill him. And as revenge for making a fool of me, did more damage in 1 shot to that archer than he did to me in a dozen. Adding archers into hectic combat situations makes the game much, much more difficult. The arenas from this point of the game onwards take a pretty massive spike in difficulty for just that reason. Our prize was well worth the added journey. Got the Tuku, you can see why it was a challenge, because it's not just lying just off the beaten path. Actually had to go through quite a bit of challenge to get to it. Here's the other side of that ladder we didn't bring down earlier. This alternate path actually lines up with progress, so that's nice. And here's the top level of that interior area we saw earlier. Down here we can see what appears to be a massive drawbridge. Back inside, Kuzo will happily hop from perch to perch until he lands on the switch. And underneath the drawbridge was quite an elaborate painting. Seems to me to be heavily inspired by Native American artwork, in addition to the strong Polynesian influence, which shows through very clearly in most of the character design in the game. They combine a number of other cultures, sort of make their own unique culture. We're through the second loading zone of this surprisingly large forest. Better snap an action before that hornblower begins his return. The PS2's analog stick has always been ill-suited to fine-tuned aiming. Once that archer is on medium alert due to having seen his friend killed, getting a headshot on him becomes more difficult because he moves around a bunch. Even if you fire exactly when the X is solid, it doesn't necessarily guarantee a headshot if he moves. Door back there inexplicably requires a switch that is 10 steps away. Bit of needless technology here in this very nice treetop area. I just like the scenery up here a whole lot. I'm a little less fond of what they want me to do while I'm up here. Got two paths branching off of this walkway. I'm just gonna arbitrarily choose the left path for now. Get to know it as well as I can. Ooh, wish I hadn't seen that. Not my problem yet. Couple of archers up above. And naturally, as always, hornblower patrolling down below. Do a little damage while we have the chance, in case this hornblower hunt goes poorly. But we played it very nicely. I like that all the special animations in this game for all the various kills are played in slow motion the first time you see them, and then on subsequent times they go full speed. Really get all the visceral brutality of it. Now, all of that was just to clear out that single archer who's watching over that cluster of enemies. Still well worth the time, because you don't want to face them with an archer coming down on you. Now we have to repeat the process for exactly the same benefit. This one is not identical, thankfully. Take out this hornblower. And I can't get a lock on. Abort. Abort. I didn't abort far enough. Still got that challenge to work on. Come on. Bit of slow-mo on that reward message. But we really made a chump of that guy. If we can do something similar for the others, then we'll be doing pretty good, despite the mistake. The former hornblower is of no concern. The armored guy's faring a little bit better. Can't get the combo quite right because he's set to square. I'm just a little bit too used to doing combos centered around X. It's fine though. Didn't need a combo. Just gotta make sure I stay stealthy when I get to the top here. Choose my approach wisely. Pass on the golden perch for now. And luckily arrive at just the moment that everyone's back is turned. And got a bolt down before any problematic turn of events happened. Now for story time.
At any time, only 6 people have the mark of Kree, each one holding a line from the spell within its designs. 6 families are cursed with this mark, the firstborn in each carrying part of the spell until the day they die. In death, the mark is then passed along to the next born in the family line. This way, the mark is never lost, and the families are cursed for all eternity.
Well, that's actually quite a lot of information about what the Mark of Kree actually is. It seems to look near identical to the tribal tattoos that almost every character has on their bodies. So it must be hard to identify just who exactly bears the Mark of Kree. Perhaps it's a myth altogether. These are our future opponents. I'd say we're in dire need of a break before we approach them.